Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today we would talk about the BMD-4M2. This is a light tank that was added to Russia this year, and I ended up not spading it for quite a while. The general reason was I just wasn't really too interested in it after playing a million other light tanks in the Russian tech tree, including the standard BMD-4, which of course was the event vehicle in Summer Landing. But I finally got around to the BMD-4M2, and I thought I would give you my general thoughts on it. So this vehicle is just worse than the premium one, and also worse than the event one. It's kind of funny that it's the one that they put in the standard tech tree at the same BR, because technically that means the premium is pay to win. When you have a look at the BMD-4 from the event, it doesn't have the additional armor on it, and also it has the better transmission and the better kind of just general engine on it, meaning that it can be way more mobile than the premium version and also the standard tech tree version. Another thing that is also true about this kind of event vehicle is the simple fact that it gets a really quick reload when it comes to its missile. So you can run around, bang, 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 do just crazy stuff with it, right? The premium vehicle has access to the worse engine and transmission because they were trying to improve the commonality between the BMP and the BMD series, but it also keeps that reload rate of the ATGM. It's generally not too bad, and you can get it done. You know, you don't get a lot of ATGMs, but it's basically the same. So you lose out on some mobility, but you still have the punching power of the missile. Well, the BMD-4M2, which is in the tech tree, is a continuation of that commonality idea between the BMD and the BMP series. And what you get for the vehicle is you get access to the engine and transmission, which is worse than the event vehicle, but the same as the premium vehicle, but you don't get the fast reload of the ATGM. So you actually lose out by using the standard tech tree one compared to the other two BMDs that are in the kind of premium area, the event one and also the standard premium one. So it kind of sucks that that's the case. I don't think in general, even though it's like a small thing, it does make quite a large difference in the playstyle of this vehicle when you kind of run around with it. I think it's super important in War Thunder to not have vehicles just be worse than premium counterparts, and this one unfortunately is. It's just a straight downgrade from the BMD-4M and also a massive downgrade from the BMD-4. So that already kind of sucks. Now, is the vehicle a 9.7 good? Yes and no is probably the best way I could put it. So I'll be completely honest. This vehicle doesn't fit my playstyle. As a general player in War Thunder, I like MBTs, I like light tanks with good firepower, which is why I think the R400 is going to be very fun. And I like vehicles which generally have decent mobility as well, but they can back it up with a good punch. The BMD-4M2 has the mobility. It's able to go forward incredibly quickly, it's able to rotate very fast, it has really good targeting speed on the turret, which is really, really nice. Like, you're looking at 60 degrees per second around, which is just fantastic for this type of vehicle. Now, the issue that I have with it, it has no survivability, you can die from a sneeze, and at the same time, the actual firepower of this thing is limited. You have the ATGM, which can just kind of one-tap a vehicle, which is nice. It has a really interesting way of firing as well. You fire it and it kind of punches it out of the barrel, and then after that, it kind of ignites and goes forward. So if a vehicle comes around a corner to attack you, you can usually actually get the shot off while, you know, it tries to shoot you too. So it isn't like a standard ATGM, which has kind of a spool-up time. It instead just gets punched out and hits the target. So overall, it can actually work pretty well. But the issue is it isn't as reliable as just, let's say, a 105 or a 125 that you get on something like a Sprut or any other light tank around this BR. And because you are reliant on a 30mm 2A72 on this BMD, which has a rank 4 APDS, by the way, so until you get that APDS, your gun is pretty much useless. And then on top of it, you are facing a lot of other light tanks which have better armaments than you, and also just better survivability, such as the Baglet Panzer, which is exactly the same BR as this thing. It can get extremely annoying playing it. but I completely understand the usefulness of this vehicle. The whole point of the BMD series, and this is the same for the event, the same for the premium, and the same for the standard one, you are supposed to run at the enemy. You're supposed to cause fear in their hearts. You're supposed to find areas of the general enemy and find the cracks, go through them, smash them with the APDS through the sides, fire the ATGMs like a crazy person, and you're supposed to give your team an initial advantage. And that is how you win games with it. And there aren't a ton of vehicles in War Thunder that can do that to a very high level, but the BMD-4M2 is one of those. That's why it only has APDS at this BR, because if it had APF STS, it would absolutely annihilate everything around it. The problem at the moment around this BR range is there's a lot of other people doing that, but they're doing it with AAs. They're doing it with 8.3, 8.7 AAs, which are incredibly rapid, amazing targeting speed, and also just look at you and you die because you are just a box. You have less armor than the AAs. So what ends up happening is you just get killed instantly by the 35mm, and it's incredibly frustrating to be able to play against those vehicles. And so a lot of the games, you don't last very long. You usually have a decent high impact. You get 1 or 2 kills, maybe even more, get some scouts off. You give your team an initial advantage, which is huge for your team, because you can knock out people super quickly and you can, annihilate from there. But your stats aren't going to look as good as other vehicles, and they're going to look super wonky. The other thing is the lineup around this thing is suspect, I think is probably the word I would use. You have the T64B, which is a 9.7. This is a fantastic vehicle, especially if you get the BV upgrade, which gives it the additional kind of contact 1 armor on it. And it has the 3BM42, which is an amazing round for this area. And if you understand how to play the T64B, where once again, you need to go forward, you need to be aggressive, you need to be offensive, but you also must understand how to angle your vehicle, where to look at, what areas to go from, you can have a fantastic time. But on top of that, the other elements of the lineup, I mean, unless you have the other BMDs, and unless you are committed to just running at the enemy like crazy people, there isn't a ton. You have another T64 and then the T72, which once again are fine backups, but they fill a similar niche to the other one. You also have the Shigler, which is there, the ZSU 23-4M4, which with the upgrade is completely fine at 9.7. You have not a ton of CAS. You have the K29, but upgrading that thing is just impossible. So that is very tough to play. And then also you have a bunch of like 9.3 planes, which most of them are just only good for doing like a bombing run and then getting out of there. They don't have countermeasures. They don't have anything like that. They just have the ability of tossing bombs at places and hoping for the best. So it's definitely limited in terms of CAS, but in terms of aggressive MBT gameplay and also aggressive light tanks, it can work really well. And that's kind of what I found while playing this thing. So even though I didn't enjoy the BMD-4M2 as much as I have other vehicles, it still did really well. It took 78 battles to spade, which was quite a lot, but it was also quite a long spade, especially since you need key modifications like the mobility stuff and also the APDS to actually be useful. But we ended up having a 68% win rate. So nearly a 70% win rate in the BMD-4M2, 102 ground kills, 76 deaths, and 8 air kills. So you can see that the stats there, they don't look very good compared to a lot of other vehicles that we've played more recently. If we have a look at the CV90 105 stats, for example, right? We got a 58% win rate, 38 battles, and we had a 3-to-1 KD. And that's just because that type of vehicle fits me a lot better than the BMD. But you can see how you can use the BMD to win battles over and over and over again. And it's by playing hyper-aggressive, by basically just making the enemy go on the defensive and letting your team follow you in and being able to do well. And that's how you end up with something like a 70% win rate at this BR while playing majority solo with this type of vehicle. So even though I don't personally enjoy it, I can completely understand why people do, and also at the same time, why it's so effective. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.